Yo, what's up, everybody? It is Thursday, September 26th. I'm down here in Southwest Florida. We're in the middle of this Hurricane Helene. Actually, where I am, it's a tropical storm. I just want to show you a little bit what's going on. The wind's blowing like crazy. And we got gusts going on here up to 75 miles an hour. It's been like this all day long. My trees are holding up, but they're taking a licking, let me tell you. All right, let's get going. I'm doing it outside. Doing it outside! How's everybody doing? Market was up today. That's what I expected yesterday, actually, because of the Social Security payment. I did an interesting experiment today, and I'm going to tell you about it. I went to, everyone, you probably know ChatGPT, the AI, artificial intelligence application. I've played around with that in the past, used it for different things, administrative stuff like that. I've actually in the past asked it some economics questions. And of course, it's just filled up with mainstream economics. It's wrong. So today I asked it, I'm going to read it to you. I asked it, what is the effect of Fed rate hikes when the Fed raises interest rates? I have a printout of what it said, and I'm going to read it to you guys. I can't put it up on the screen. I'm not that sophisticated. All right, so here's what it says. I said, what happens to the economy? What is the effect on the economy when the Fed raises interest rates? Number one, the cost of borrowing increases. And it gives a whole explanation here. I'm not going to read every single paragraph because it's going to take long, but that's the main point. The cost of borrowing increases, slower economic growth, lower inflation, impact on the housing market, mortgage rates rise in tandem, and that could lead to a cooling in the housing market. Stronger currency, okay? We've actually seen the dollar weaken. Weaker economic growth. Oh, well, the dollar has weakened with the rate cuts. So I'm sorry. Weaker economic growth. So the reason why I point this out is because there is nothing in here. Everything that it came back to me in response. Borrowing costs go up, slower economic growth, lower inflation, impact on housing, stronger currency, stock market volatility, weaker employment growth. All that there's not a single mention in here of interest incomes going up. In other words, all of this explanation is focused on the liability side again of the balance sheet. Everything that ChatGPT spit out was related to the liability side of the balance sheet. There is not one mention in there of, people getting paid higher interest. Interest income transfers into the economy. Government is a net payer of interest. They have to pay more into the economy. Not a single mention of that in ChatGPT. GPT. I thought that was interesting. By the way, I was not surprised by that at all. I expected that to happen. So there you go. It's not that smart. What you program into it, that is its learning framework. That's what it learns from. Those principles that you program into it. And it has a bias, it has a monetarist bias. Of course it has to, because that's 100% of the way economics is taught. It's 100% of the way economics is talked about, how it's viewed. I'm the only one. I mean, if you've been coming to this channel for any length of time, and you're going to see everything that I said now that I've been talking about, we have a very interesting situation going on right here. We have every single central bank in the world, with the exception of Japan, cutting interest rates. We got the Fed cutting interest rates. We got the ECB cutting interest rates. We got the Bank of England. We got the Bank of Canada. We have the Australian National Bank. We have the New Zealand National Bank. And now the Chinese They're saying they're bringing out the bazooka. I mean, we heard that. Remember, we heard that back in 2009, the bazooka, when it was John Paulson who was the Treasury Secretary. We gotta use the bazooka. So you got all these central banks globally that are cutting interest rates. What is that? That is just that is a fiscal contraction. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody is talking about this. I'm the only one. So yeah, I could understand the initial reaction because everybody is a freaking monetarist. When they see this, it's all, oh, we got to buy, okay? They remember, they would sell when they raised the interest rate. Like this thing is saying the stock market's going to go down because interest rate. Did it go down? No, it just went straight up to new all-time highs and another all-time high and more all-time highs and more all-time highs, okay? So they were all selling on that, and now it's like buy because China's cutting, the Fed is cutting, everybody's cutting. I'm actually most bullish on Japan. They're the only ones who are raising their interest rates. For what reason, I have no idea. But actually, that is a fiscal stimulus over there in Japan. They had negative interest rates for years. That was like a tax, okay? That was literally taking yen out of the system into the black hole of the books of the Bank of Japan onto the books of the Bank of Japan, which went nowhere, okay? It was just sucking those yen out. Now they raised interest rates are positive. It's a little positive, but it's a positive flow back into the economy. All these other guys are cutting interest rates, and that is a global fiscal contraction. You don't have to believe me, okay? And you could argue against me, but you're going to see what's going to happen. I'm telling you, and I am the only person out there in this entire world who is telling you this stuff, okay? The only person. There's people out there making videos. They got channels. They got 50,000, 100,000, a million subscribers. I don't care. They're all saying the same thing. They all don't understand it. I am the only person. You got all these central banks cutting interest rates. You got this stupid ChatGPT which says the same thing. It just regurgitates the same thing of all this monetarist bullshit that you hear, which is a one-sided, let's just look at the liability side of the balance sheet. We don't understand the other, okay? Or we don't pay attention to it, or it doesn't exist in our minds, in our framework. It doesn't exist. Let's make artificial intelligence, which is not intelligent at all. They did the same thing. I did the same thing. What is the national debt? And again, it's what the government owes, it's what it borrows. You can't borrow unless you have something to borrow. The government cannot borrow dollars of which it is the issuer, of which it is the sole monopoly issuer of the dollar. It cannot borrow dollars unless it puts the freaking dollars there in the first place. You can't drain a swimming pool until you fill it up with water first. You can't play the monopoly game until you distribute the money first. How the fuck does the government borrow dollars? It has to put the freaking dollars in the system before it could take it out. I mean, it's just common sense. You cannot play a monopoly game unless you distribute the money first. You cannot drain a swimming pool unless you put the money in there first. ChatGPT, Mr. Artificial Intelligence, so smart, says no, they got to go out in the world. The government's got to go out in the world and find some dollars. From who? Who makes them? Huh? Who makes them? The Chinese in their factories? Come on, people. It's getting ridiculous. And all you hear, listen, I watched another thing, the stupid Fox Business, when they're talking about, oh yeah, the economy's good, but the national debt is going up. They've been talking about this freaking national debt for 44 years since I've been in this business, okay? When Reagan national debt was 800 billion, now it's 36 trillion. And every single year, it's gonna blow up. It's gonna be a disaster. For 44 years, they've been saying that. Because they don't understand it. It's like, it would be like saying, one day the earth is gonna run out of gravity. it's complete nonsense and idiocy. Get some freaking education. Get some understanding. All right? Go play around with ChatGPT and see how ridiculous it is. If you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. And that's exactly what's going on. Anyway, that's it for today, folks. Please like and subscribe. Got to get through this wind. My trees are holding up so far, but man, they've been taking a beating all day. All right, don't forget, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial, MMT Trader. See you tomorrow. Bye.